Most Chevy owners spend money on the wrong upgrades: wheels, lights, cosmetics, things that look good in the driveway and do nothing for the truck underneath. Meanwhile, the cheapest parts on this list, the ones almost nobody talks about, are the ones standing between you and a four-figure repair bill. Today, 10 cheap Chevy upgrades that most owners completely ignore. Every one of them prevents a specific repair that costs hundreds or thousands of dollars. Several of them cost less than a tank of fuel. And number 1 is a part your dealer has never once mentioned to you. Let's go. Upgrade 10, the dielectric grease kit. $10 against electrical gremlins. We start with the cheapest item on the entire list, and it is the one people laugh at until it happens to them. A tube of dielectric grease costs under $10, and it will outlast your ownership of the truck. Here is what it actually does. Every electrical connector on your Chevy that lives outside the cabin is fighting the same battle: moisture, road salt, and vibration. Water gets into a connector, sits against the metal pins, and corrosion starts. Corrosion is resistance. Resistance is voltage drop, and voltage drop is how you end up with electrical faults that come and go for months and drive you completely insane trying to diagnose. Dielectric grease is a non-conductive silicone that seals the connector against moisture while letting the metal pins make solid contact. Where to use it? Your trailer connector is the number one spot. It is exposed, it lives at bumper height, it eats road spray, and a corroded trailer plug means brake lights and trailer brakes that work intermittently. Your spark plug boots are next, because grease on the boot means the boot comes off cleanly next time instead of tearing. Then exterior bulb sockets, and the connectors on any sensor you ever unplug. It takes a fingertip of grease and about 5 seconds per connector. And here is the honest framing: this does not fix an existing corroded connection. It prevents one. Chasing an intermittent electrical fault at a shop is easily several hours of diagnostic labor, and at the rates dealers charge now, that is a bill that starts in the hundreds and has no ceiling, because the technician is being paid to look for something that only shows up when it feels like it. Upgrade 9, the upgraded oil filter. Buy it for the valve inside it. An oil filter is a $10 to $15 part that every single owner buys and almost nobody thinks about. On a Chevy V8 with cylinder deactivation, the thing that matters is not the brand on the box, it is the anti-drainback valve inside it. Here is the mechanism. When your engine shuts off, gravity wants to pull the oil in the filter and the upper galleries back down into the pan. The anti-drainback valve is a rubber flap that stops it. A quality filter with a good valve means that when you cold start tomorrow morning, oil is right there, ready to go. A cheap filter with a weak or hardened valve lets that oil bleed back overnight, and now every single cold start is a partial dry start. Now connect that to what actually fails on these engines. Your cylinder deactivation lifters are held in position by oil pressure. The moment of lowest oil pressure in the entire operating cycle is the first 2 seconds after a cold start. So a $5 saving on a filter buys you a slightly longer dry start every morning for years on the exact components that cost thousands to replace. Buy an AC Delco or a genuinely reputable equivalent from a parts retailer rather than a dealer counter, and do not chase the absolute cheapest option on the shelf. And every time you take the old one off, cut it open and look inside. Fine gray silt is normal wear for the mileage. Glittery metallic flake is a lifter roller or a cam lobe shedding material, and it is the earliest warning you will ever get before the ticking starts. Upgrade 8, the PCV valve, $20 upstream of oil consumption. Number 8 is a $20 to $40 part that sits directly upstream of the most common complaint on these engines, and almost nobody replaces it on schedule because it is not on the dealer's list. Your engine produces blow-by, combustion gases that slip past the piston rings into the crankcase. The positive crankcase ventilation system vents those gases back into the intake so pressure does not build up down there. When the PCV valve fails or the system restricts, crankcase pressure rises, and pressure inside the crankcase has to go somewhere. It pushes oil past seals, past rings, and into places it should not be. Here is why that matters more on your truck than on an older engine. Cylinder deactivation engines already have a documented reputation for oil consumption, burning oil with no leak on the driveway and often no warning light until the level is genuinely low. Some of that is the deactivation system itself, but some of it is crankcase pressure, and that part is a $20 fix. And low oil level means lower available oil pressure, which brings you right back to the locking pins in your lifters that depend on it. There is a check that costs nothing and takes 10 seconds. With the engine running, pull the oil fill cap off and rest it loosely back on top. On a healthy system, it should sit there quietly. If it dances, rattles, or you can feel pressure pushing up out of the fill hole, your crankcase is not venting the way it should. That is your answer, and it is the cheapest diagnostic on this entire list. Upgrade 7. The cabin and engine air filters, the most marked up parts on the truck. These two are on the list together because they are the same story and the same fix. A quality cabin air filter for a Silverado, Tahoe, or Suburban runs roughly $7 to $16 online. A quality engine air filter runs around $10 to $17. At a dealership, bundled into a service package as a line item you did not ask for, owners routinely report paying multiples of that. Here is what makes it worse. On most Chevy trucks, the cabin filter lives behind the glove box, and changing it is a genuine 5-minute job with no tools. You squeeze the sides of the glove box to drop it down, slide the old filter out, note which way the airflow arrow points, and slide the new one in. That is the entire job. The engine filter is a couple of clips on the airbox lid. If you have ever paid a shop to do either of these, you paid almost entirely for the walk to the parts counter. Beyond the money, the engine filter has a real mechanical consequence. A clogged filter makes the engine work harder for the same air, which costs fuel economy, and on a direct injection engine, it contributes to the conditions that build carbon on your intake valves. One honest note on brands: this is a place where a decent aftermarket filter from a known name is genuinely fine. Where I would be careful is the very cheapest no-name options, because filtration media quality is the entire product, and a filter that does not filter properly is worse than no saving at all. Quick pause, hit like and subscribe, and drop a comment with your model year and which of these you are installing first. 6 more coming, and this is where the money gets serious, including the factory part that deliberately keeps your transmission fluid too hot, the part that turns a job you have been skipping for years into a 5-minute afternoon, and the #1 upgrade, which protects a component that costs over $3,000 to replace and can be stolen from under your truck in about 2 minutes. Let's keep going. Upgrade 6. The serpentine belt and tensioner. Replace together, always. Number 6 is a part most owners replace half of, and that half measure is exactly why it comes back. Your serpentine belt drives your alternator, your water pump, your power steering, and your air conditioning compressor off one single belt. When people hear a squeal or see cracking, they replace the belt. What they usually do not replace is the tensioner, the spring-loaded pulley that keeps the correct pressure on that belt. Here is the mechanism nobody explains. The tensioner has a spring and a bearing inside it, and both wear out on roughly the same timeline as the belt. A tired tensioner cannot hold consistent pressure, so the new belt slips, squeals, and wears out early, and the owner concludes they bought a bad belt. Worse, a seizing tensioner bearing can throw the belt entirely, and when that belt goes, you lose your alternator, your power steering assist, and on many engines your water pump, all at once, wherever you happen to be. That is not an inconvenience, that is a tow, and potentially an overheated engine if you keep driving. A belt and tensioner together typically run $60 to $100 in parts, and on most of these trucks, it is an accessible job. Replace them as a set, not a belt on its own. And when you have the old belt off, spin every pulley by hand and listen. Any roughness or noise from an idler pulley bearing means it is next in line, and it is far cheaper to do it now while everything is already apart. Upgrade 5. The fuel filter, the one that matters most if you run a diesel. Number 5 is genuinely important on any truck, and it is critical if you have the Duramax. On a gas truck, a fuel filter that is past its life restricts flow, makes your fuel pump work harder, and can cause hesitation and rough running under load. That is worth avoiding for a modest part cost. But if you own a diesel, this is not a maintenance item you stretch. Diesel fuel systems run at extraordinarily high pressure, and the pump that generates that pressure is lubricated by the fuel itself. Contaminated or poorly filtered fuel means abrasive particles moving through parts machined to extremely tight tolerances. When a high-pressure diesel fuel pump fails, it does not fail quietly. It can send metal debris downstream through the entire fuel system, injectors included, and the resulting repair is one of the most expensive things that can happen to a modern diesel truck. Fuel filters for these trucks are typically in the $30 to $80 range, and on many the change is straightforward. Use the correct filter for your engine and do not stretch the interval to save a few dollars, because on the diesel side, the downside is measured in thousands, not hundreds. And if you tow with a diesel or buy fuel from stations you do not know well, shorten the interval rather than lengthening it. Upgrade 4. The coolant service and thermostat. Cheap fluid, expensive consequence. Number 4 is not a bolt-on part, so much as a cheap service that owners defer indefinitely, and the consequence is severe. Your Chevy uses DexCool. It is a good coolant, but it is not permanent, and the corrosion inhibitors in it deplete over time. Once they do, the coolant turns slightly acidic, and acidic coolant does not wait politely. It attacks water pump seals, thermostat housings, gaskets, and the aluminium in your heads and block. On the GM V8 specifically, degraded coolant has a long, well-documented history of forming a rust-colored sludge that clogs the radiator and the heater core. The first casualties are almost always the water pump and the thermostat, and both of those failures present the same way, as overheating. On an aluminium block engine, overheating is how you warp a cylinder head, and that is the moment a cheap fluid problem becomes a very expensive engine problem. Coolant itself is inexpensive. A thermostat is a modest part. Do the coolant on schedule. Use the correct DexCool specification. Mix it 50-50 with distilled water, and never tap water because the minerals in tap water deposit inside the passages. And bleed the system properly afterwards, because trapped air alone can cause overheating on these trucks. If your truck is over 100,000 miles and you cannot remember the coolant ever being changed, that is your answer. Upgrade 3. The thermal bypass valve, the factory part that keeps your fluid too hot. Number 3 is the one that genuinely surprises people, because it is a factory part working exactly as designed, and the design is not on your side. If you have the 8-speed or the 10-speed automatic, your transmission has a thermal bypass valve. Its job is to hold transmission fluid back from the cooler until the fluid reaches operating temperature, so the transmission warms up quickly. Warming up fast is genuinely good for efficiency and emissions. Here is the problem. The factory valve is calibrated to keep that fluid up around 194 degrees and higher, and transmission fluid begins breaking down rapidly above 220 degrees. So the factory is deliberately holding your fluid close to the edge of its comfortable range as a baseline, before you have added towing, summer heat, or a long grate on top of it. Billet aluminum replacement valves change that threshold, opening flow to the cooler far earlier, around 160 degrees. The fluid still warms up, it just stops being held hot once it is there. Why this matters in money terms: heat is what degrades the friction package in your fluid, and degraded fluid is a major contributor to the torque converter shudder these transmissions are known for around 100,000 miles, that rumble strip feeling under light acceleration. It is also what cooks the clutch material that then circulates through your valve body. The valve is roughly $100 to $150. A transmission rebuild starts several thousand. And while you are thinking about heat, go find the transmission temperature readout in your Driver Information Center menu. Most owners have never looked at it, and it is the single best gauge you have of whether any of this applies to how you actually drive. Upgrade 2. The transmission pan with a drain plug, removing your excuse. Number 2 removes the single biggest excuse owners have for skipping the most important fluid service on the truck. Here is the situation. The factory transmission pan on most Silverados has no drain plug. None. To change the fluid, you unbolt the entire pan and let several quarts of transmission fluid pour out over your arms, the crossmember, and the floor. It is genuinely unpleasant. It takes real time, and it needs a new gasket. So what happens? Owners skip it. Not because they do not care, but because the factory made the job miserable enough that it keeps getting postponed, and GM calling the fluid lifetime gives everyone permission to keep postponing. Lifetime means the life of the warranty, not the life of the transmission. An aftermarket pan with a drain plug already fitted typically runs $30 to $110 depending on your transmission, and it converts that miserable job into a 5-minute drain and fill you will actually do on schedule. Now the important accuracy point, because people get this wrong and it costs them. Do not drill your existing pan and fit a screw-in plug. The experience consensus on this is consistent. Retrofitted plugs in a thin stamped pan are a persistent leak source, and you will be back under the truck. Buy a pan that came from the factory with the plug in it, or have one properly welded. Also note that you still need to drop the pan periodically to service the filter. The drain plug makes the routine fluid changes easy. It does not replace the filter service entirely. $30 to $110 against a transmission rebuild that starts around $4,000 and climbs from there on the newer units. Upgrade 1. The Catalytic Converter Shield. 2 minutes to steal, thousands to replace. Number 1. And it is number 1 because of the sheer gap between how easy the crime is and how much it costs you. Your catalytic converter contains platinum, palladium, and rhodium. Those metals are why the part is worth stealing, and it is why converter theft has been an epidemic. And here is why your truck specifically is a target. A Silverado sits high off the ground with an easily accessible undercarriage. A thief with a battery-powered saw does not even need to jack it up. They slide under, make 2 cuts, and they are gone. In some documented cases in under 2 minutes. Now the number that matters. Replacing the catalytic converter on a Silverado 1500 is estimated at roughly $3,100 to $3,240. And that is before you account for the days your truck is off the road, and the fact that if you use it for work, it is not earning while it sits. A cat shield is an aluminum or steel plate that bolts to the frame and puts a physical barrier between a saw blade and your converter. Budget aluminum shields start well under $100. A premium unit with tamper-resistant security screws and unique keys runs around $370 to $390. Now the honest part, and the manufacturers say this themselves, so I will too. A shield is a deterrent, not a guarantee. A determined thief with enough time and the right tools can still get through one. What it does is make your truck a slower, louder, more difficult target than the one parked next to it. And theft is overwhelmingly a crime of opportunity and speed. If you park on a street, in a commercial lot, or anywhere your truck sits overnight unattended, this is the single highest ratio of cost to protected value on this entire list. 10 upgrades. Every one of them ignored by most Chevy owners, and every one of them cheaper than the repair it helps prevent. Dielectric grease against electrical gremlins you will never diagnose. A proper oil filter bought for the valve inside it. The PCV valve sitting upstream of oil consumption. Cabin and engine filters you should never pay counter prices for. The serpentine belt and tensioner, replaced as a set. The fuel filter, critical if you run the diesel. Coolant on schedule before it turns acidic. The thermal bypass valve that keeps your fluid hotter than it needs to be. A transmission pan with a drain plug that removes your excuse for skipping the service. And a cat shield standing in front of a $3,000 part that takes 2 minutes to steal. Add the cheap end of that list up, and you are a few $100s into protecting components worth many thousands. None of it looks good in the driveway. All of it is the reason some of these trucks reach 300,000 miles and others get traded in at 120 with a list of problems the next owner inherits. That is the whole difference. Not luck, and not which year you bought. Just a handful of cheap parts fitted before they were needed, rather than after. So tell me in the comments, which of these 10 are you installing first, and what year is your truck? I read every single one. Hit like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.